Hello, everybody. Welcome to RedVsRed, your new Manchester United fan channel favorite. I am Sporadiclese, and I want to go ahead and talk about a few things that have been going on. And we've got Aston Villa away tomorrow, so lots to dive into. I'm very much looking forward to getting to share my thoughts and feelings with you guys, and take a little preview and give my prediction for the upcoming Aston Villa game. But before we do that, I want to thank everybody that has followed on Rumble as well as our subscribers on YouTube. Very much appreciate that. We're trying to get that number to about 100 so that we can start a Discord server so that we can engage with you guys a little bit more. So make sure whatever platform you're on, hit that follow or subscribe button. Whatever is free, that's all we want. We just want to be able to interact with you guys, and we're very much looking forward to that. So why don't we just kind of go right into the overview? I want to talk about Bruno Fernandes today. A lot of things going on with him the last couple games, so we'll definitely touch on that a little bit. I also wanted to see, is this possibly going to be Erik ten Hag's last game? We've not had a whole lot of success in the last few games. We're four games without a win. We could be looking at our fifth game without a win, so not looking good for him. We've got the international break coming up. Looking forward to hopefully having a few people go out on international duty and not get injured. Knock on wood. And then, yeah, of course, the match against Aston Villa that is going to be tomorrow. So why don't we go ahead and dive right in and start talking about Bruno? 2 games, 2 red cards. Very uncharacteristic of Bruno Fernandes, our captain. He had not had a red card at all for us, or at least a direct red for Manchester United, and then he got 2 in back-to-back games. It's looking like a Casemiro type situation, last season whenever he got his 2 red cards. But I mean, back-to-back games, you kind of gotta wonder where his head's at. The first one, I think there is a little bit of grace to give him, but this second one, it's just like, what on earth are you doing? I think that that challenge itself, we got a second yellow for it. If he wouldn't have had a yellow, that could have been a straight red. The boot's high, his studs are out, up near the defender's head. So Bruno, I was honestly kind of looking forward to seeing how our team performs without Bruno, give him a little bit of a break, because he just needs it. There's a lot of frustration that I think that is going on with him, and I think that he really needs to take a step back and collect himself a little bit, because this is not the Bruno that we're so used to seeing week in, week out. So that can't continue, and so he's going to have to make some changes, and he's going to have to make them now. We're already in a bad vein of form, and so we're going to need our captain to galvanize us and get us out of that. But everything that's been going on with him kind of epitomizes everything that's been an issue with Manchester United recently. The frustration, the lack of feeling and effort, I feel like, for the badge. Just kind of, there's been a laziness about a lot of the way that we're defending and trying to attack the ball, and just a lot of mistakes that are being made. And I think that it really needs to start with Bruno to get back into good form, sort himself out, because we can't keep on having red cards for him. That's not the look that we need from our captain. It's one thing if you have a red card from out of passion, but these were not out of passion. These were out of laziness and frustration, in my opinion. And so, gonna have to see that performance pick up. Otherwise, we could see very bad things coming for Erik ten Hag, who I want to talk about now. This is kind of a make or break for him. We have drawn or lost our last 4 games, and we cannot afford to continue to drop points. We are extremely low in both the table for Europa League as well as the Premier League. And my thought was that we were going to be vying for Champions League football by getting into that top 4 here in the Premier League. And we're not doing that, and we've not yet won a game in the Europa League. We've scored 4 goals in that competition, and we have conceded as many. And so this is really giving a whole lot of what we were seeing last season. Whenever we finished the season with a -1 goal difference, this can't keep happening. And I think a lot of it does boil down to how the defense has been set up through Eric Ten Hag, and the way that we, whenever we are trying to press, making sure that we're not losing our shape and being easily played through, and just switching off in pivotal moments. I think we saw it, a couple of times there in the game against Porto. We had, Rashford not tracking back, Martinez after the ball comes in, not following the ball back to, back into the danger zone, and we gave him a freebie there. De Ligt losing his man, free headers for their Samu, I believe it was, and just lazy stuff. I mean, this is stuff that should be, and I think is kind of drilled into players of quality from a very young age, that you don't get to just switch off. You need to keep your eyes on the man, as well as ball side, goal side. De Ligt got caught not being ball side on a cross that resulted in directly in a goal being scored against us. And so you really got to wonder what's going on with these players and in the system, that we've kind of created this sense of complacency and that it's okay to be mediocre. And that's not okay. It's never been okay. And I think it's up to Ten Hag to really get everybody refocused, because this is not the Manchester United that I think everybody envisioned we were going to see after the transfer window that we've had. And we've had, quite a few players that have become directly incorporated into the team right from the off, in Mazraoui and Matthijs de Ligt and Joshua Zirkzee. And so we really need all of those players, because I think Mazraoui has had a fairly okay season, but they're, thus far, but he has made a couple of mistakes, but not as many as I would say De Ligt has made, as well as Joshua Zirkzee missing big chances. He's got to be more clinical in front of goal, and it's the coach's job to make sure that the team is firing on all cylinders. So against this Aston Villa team that, has shown that they are willing to go out there and put their bodies on the line and cause some real problems for some really big teams, i.e. Bayern Munich, in the week, that's going to be tough. And I think they're going to be missing out on a couple of their midfielders, such as Onana, and so that that's a boon for us. But at the same time, Tottenham Hotspur were missing Heung-min Son, and look what that did for us. And so this is not going to be an easy match, and it's going to be, on hostile turf. So it's going to be a really tough game, and Ten Hag is really going to have his players straight and ready for this challenge, because it is going to be a challenge. And so without further ado, I do want to go ahead and step into it and start talking about this lineup that Eric Ten Hag is going to need in order to save his career here at Manchester United, because it's looking kind of bleak at the moment. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start from the back. Andre Onana, I think he's a player that he's had good moments and he's had bad moments, but he's still going to be our number one. You're going to see that for the rest of the season. I don't think goalkeeper is going to be a priority in the January transfer window. I think that's probably, if we are going to make moves, it's going to be at left back. And over there right now, we have the ever-present Diogo Dalot filling in, and he just looks out of sorts on that left-hand side. It feels like he's got his angles wrong. He and Rashford do not link up well. I think they're not on the same wavelength at all. They look not very good in attack, and Diogo Dalot has had a few instances just in the last couple of weeks where he's really struggled to defend properly and track his man. And we all know Marcus Rashford has not been a big help in terms of getting back. He never really has been one of those players that's willing to bust his tail and get back there and help out his his wing back. So it's going to be another tough weekend for Diogo Dallo, I think, and he's going to have to bring his A game if he's going to want to kind of salvage his form that we've seen dip as much as it has these last few games. Another person who has been struggling that really needs a little bit of a redemption is right next to him in Lissandro Martinez. He again against the Porto team midweek, completely caught ball watching on one of their goals. Onana made a big save and tried to get up for the double save, but you saw that ball get parried away, and it was not Martinez who was making that first effort to get to the ball after Onana had parried it. And so we can't afford to have those moments where we switch off. And so I think that he's still right now our number one pick for left center back, but we need more from him. We can't afford to have those moments where we switch off. And the partnership that he's had with De Ligt has not come to its full fruition yet. I thoroughly believe that, and I think that they need to kind of get on the same page a little bit better, and that will help out going forward for us. But right now, this is just not it. And so, it's for me, I think right now it's kind of a question mark on who gets paired with him. I think Maguire came out and had a pretty decent performance. I don't ever expect anything phenomenal out of Maguire anymore, and yet that is exactly what we got while we were a man down in stoppage time at the end of the match against Porto to salvage the point that we did. Was Harry Maguire coming in clutch. And so the pairing, unfortunately, it might end up switching, and could look like we might have wasted the money to bring in De Ligt if he doesn't pick up into some form. And so I am going to pick De Ligt for my lineup this week. I think that he's someone that we need to have in. He's someone that still needs to be, continue his exposure to the Premier League. This is going to be another tough match, and we're going to need him to be on top form. But right now, as much as it's weird to say, I think Harry Maguire, of all people, is nipping at his heels saying, I want time. I'm ready to play. Put me in, coach. And so De Ligt's kind of got to prove himself a little bit more, for me at least, or else we might see some rotation coming after the international break in the form of Harry Maguire. So I love to see Harry perform well, but I also love to see our new players coming in and performing to the best of their abilities. And I think one of those players that has, or has had as a little bit fewer faux pas in on defense, and has actually performed fairly well, is Nusayr Mazraoui. And that's, I think, even whenever Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia come back and they're in the mix and they're vying for competition at left back, with all of the issues that Diogo Dallo has been having recently, I would personally put Mazraoui in my lineups first over Diogo Dallo. That might change whenever he comes back to his more natural side. We don't know, but based on the form that I've seen thus far this season, Nusayr Mazraoui all day, every day. He looks a little bit less lost on defense. He's bringing the effort. He's contributing on the offensive side, as well as doing a pretty good job on defense. Again, there have been kind of a couple of mistakes made, I feel like, in that position, but I think it says a lot that we can't afford to let one person make a mistake and the rest of our team cover, because there have been plenty of mistakes being made by everybody. And so if you make a mistake, the person next to you might make a mistake immediately thereafter. And that's kind of been what we've seen a whole lot here recently. And so we just need more consistency, and that's going to be a must going forward. So Mazraoui, I think, provides that. I think that he's going to be great for us this season and well into the future. In the midfield, Kobbie Mainoo, I think that he's been an okay performer. He's not hit the same heights thus far this year that we have seen from him. last year. I think, we'd like to see a little bit more from him. But to be fair, I think that there's a lot going on around him in the team that, is kind of contributing to, his so-called lack of performance. He's not exactly been given any type of solidarity behind him or creativity in front of him for him to really shine thus far. So our defense is a bit in shambles, and our offense is just misfiring, and so he hasn't really had a whole lot of opportunities, and he's not like I think that we forget that he is still a fairly young player. And so I do want to give him grace. I want to see him develop, but he's going to need more from the teammates around him if he's going to really be given the opportunity to perform. And I think, his midfield partnership right now is kind of up in the air. I mean, Christian Eriksen has been giving some good performances. I think that Casemiro has not been doing that. And Duarte, I think, he's still acclimating to the Premier League. And so it's kind of a toss up for me at this point between Duarte and Christian Eriksen. But I think at this time it's going to have to be Ugarte. I think that he is going to be the regular partner for Kobbie Mainoo, and that's a relationship that we're going to see blossom over the course of the season. And so I think that's going to have to start against a team like Aston Villa. It's going to be tough competition, but it's going to have to be a solid performance from both of them. Otherwise, it could get ugly. The engine room has been misfiring itself. These last few games, and we need that midfield to be rock solid. It needs to be where we're starting all of our moves, where we're shutting down offenses of other teams, and that relationship is going to have to be built so that each of them knows when they can press, when they need to hold, and everything of that nature. So be looking forward to that relationship and us getting to see a little bit more of that this weekend. On the left-hand side, oh man, I think this one's tough for me because I thought that against Porto, Marcus Rashford looked like one of our better attackers. I think he looked the most threatening. I think that he was doing well for himself. But the issue was that it was all for himself. He could have been a little bit more proactive in tracking back. He didn't really help out Diogo Dallo. So, we were getting crosses constantly thrown into the box. And so we need to provide a little bit of cover for Dallo. And I think Alejandro Garnacho is someone that is working a little bit harder in terms of getting back on defense, as well as, bringing some life into the team. On that left-hand side, but I think that we're still going to see Marcus Rashford come out and be our starter this weekend. I think that, gosh, I feel like he's just so close to finding that bit of an offensive form, that attacking form that we so desperately need from somebody right now because Xerxes has not been scoring. Rasmus Hoyland is just now coming back. He opened up his account for us against Porto this season. Amad Diallo hasn't quite been providing the goals. We're just looking so kind of stale on offense, and so as many changes as we've been creating, we need somebody that is a clinical finisher to kind of finish off a lot of these moves. And Rashford has that potential. He just hasn't shown up for us this season. And I think that even the goal that he scored against Porto, I think against a better goalkeeper, that doesn't go in. Same thing with Rasmus Hoyland. I think a better goalkeeper saves that. So I mean that game could have been a lot worse than the 3-3 that it ended up being. So Hopefully, we can see a little bit of form coming in from him. If not, I fully expect him to be benched after the international break. There's just no more excuses at this point. If you're not going to do it on offense and you're not going to do it on defense, you're going to do it from the bench, because Alejandro Garnacho has been nipping at your heels all season. I think he's hungry. I think he wants to come in and make a change and challenge for that position. And so this is make or break. Rashford needs a big game, as well as Bruno. Bruno, 2 games in a row, red cards. Fortunately, the one from last weekend was overturned. I think that he was unlucky to receive a red for that. I think he's slipping. Yes, the challenge was going to be a lazy one, but it was not going to be. It was not going to be that bad. You start slipping and your leg comes up. Yes, there was contact, but it was not there was not a lot. It was not malicious. It was not fierce. It was not with the intent to injure. It was with the intent to brace for impact. And so I think that was a bit harsh. But again, I talked about him at the start of the mat, or at the start of this episode. We really need him. We need him for our offense. He's kind of been the driving force the last couple seasons, and it just wasn't there, or it hasn't been there this season. And so he's another player that needs to find a vein of form. He probably needs to get on the score sheet, or distribute the ball a little bit better, because Marcus Rashford has been begging for a good ball for good balls to be played over the top. And I think he's gotten frustrated a lot because those just aren't coming, or they're coming too late. He's trying to time his runs properly, and he's off sides. And I think that in a lot of ways it's understanding that he's been so frustrated. And so I think Bruno is really the guy that needs to step up and say, I know how to do this. I know what Rashford is trying to do. I need to take this on for myself. I'm the captain. I'm going to get my team firing. And I think it starts with his relationship with Marcus Rashford. On the right hand side, I think Amad Diallo, again, he's been good. He's not been great. I think that it's time that we rotate a little bit more. And I think Antony is an interesting choice. I know that he's been misfiring a lot. He did all last season, but I think that he does a much better job of covering for his back. So I think that he's going to offer a lot of assistance to Mazraoui, in the form of those runs tracking back and assisting, and trying to shut down some of that play on that side. This is one of those spots where I could also see Garnacho. I've talked about him a lot, but I think he's had his best impact as a substitute, and I think that he should continue to be that, because right now what we need is impact. I don't want to put somebody out on the field because they do well as a sub, and then come into the game at the start and they're a little bit less. They feel a little bit less. Yes, he's trying to do all of these things and take on players and get to the touch line and take shots and put the ball into the box. But it's a little bit different whenever you're trying to do that from the off than whenever you come into a match where you have tired defenders, lazy legs. And so if it's working, bringing on Garnacho from the bench, then Garnacho needs to be brought on from the bench. Again, this is probably the last week that I think that we should see him, starting from the bench, or starting on the bench. And so if Marcus Rashford doesn't pick up, that is. But Antony, I think he's been patient. I think that he does need to rediscover some form, and the only way that he's going to do that is if he gets minutes. And this is one of those games where he needs to get some minutes. We probably put a little bit too much on Amad Diallo so far this season, and so we need a little bit of a pressure reliever, and we can't work with just 3 wingers. Antony's been on the sideline for much of this season. He needs to have a little bit of time on the pitch, and I think this is going to be, one of those games where he comes out and, gets that opportunity. The last one, this one is tough because, I think we've seen a lot of good things from our offense in terms of, creating opportunities whenever Xerxes on the pitch. But what we also don't do whenever Xerxes on the pitch is finish our opportunities. We have the most missed opportunities out of any team in the Premier League, and that's not a good look. He's had, I'm struggling to even count how many opportunities, big opportunities. He should easily be our leading goal scorer. He should have 4 or 5 goals this season already in all competitions, but it's just not been there. He came on, he did it against Fulham. I thought, great, this is what we needed. Our offense looks potent, and we got somebody that came in and made an impact. And that impact has, it's created chances, but it's not created goals. And Rasmus Højlund brings goals. It's just the creativity and the ability to bring other players into the mix that I think Rasmus Højlund struggles with a little bit more. And so, it's tough to say, but I mean, given the lineup that we have, I think we're going to need a little bit more in the creativity department. So I'm going to go ahead and say Joshua Zirkzee. I think that he's going to be the starter. I think that Rasmus Højlund is probably going to come on, maybe even at halftime if things aren't looking great. Zirkzee also brings a lot of energy in terms of tracking back. He definitely, he drops into the midfield, but he'll also, if he's already in the midfield and we lose the ball, he's the first player that's trying to get back and get into a position to help out his teammates. And that's something that we've been missing from a lot of our attacking players this season. So, look, we're going to need all the defensive help that we can get this game. And I think that's definitely going to be a selling point for Joshua Zirkzee that you just don't have with Rasmus Højlund. And so be looking for a lot of attacking opportunities. Hopefully we can score some, and hopefully we don't give away so many silly opportunities to the opposition this weekend, because we're going to get punished if we do. And unfortunately, I think that is going to be the case. I just haven't seen enough from our defense and our midfield to really feel comfortable saying that this is a game that we're going to go out and win. I've tried to be optimistic for a lot of this season, but I think this is very much one of those games that I don't think we're prepared for. I don't think the back line's prepared for. I don't think that the cohesiveness or the cohesion is there for our best 11. For really a lot of that midfield and defensive line. And so this being an away game, I think we're gonna lose this one. I think it's gonna be 2-1. I think we're gonna have our opportunities, but we just can't defend properly at the moment. We're just giving goals away, and against a team that has been on form, like Aston Villa, scoring goals. They beat Bayern Munich in the middle of the week. How can you say that we're if we went and played Bayern Munich that we would come out on top 1-0 like that? There's no way. We're just not at that point yet. It's a point that we can get to. I don't know that that's going to be this season. I think we still have a lot of work to do as a unit, and unfortunately, this could spell disaster for Eric Ten Hag. I know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said, this that's not a decision that's up to me. That's up to the football operations manager, and I believe Dan Ashworth. But man, I think this is going to be another tough one where we're not in any type of form, and we're going up against a team that has, plenty of weapons and good performances to back them. So I think that this is just going to be a bit too much for us again. So we'll see if Eric Ten Hag still has a job with us after the international break. And if not, then it looks like we're going to have Van Nistelrooy at least as caretaker manager for maybe the rest of the season. We'll see. I wanted to give Ten Hag the benefit of the doubt and give him until the January transfer window. He might still see that. We don't know. Even if we lose this game, he might not get sacked immediately. So I don't know. I'd like to say that that we're going to do well this weekend, but recent history has shown me that I should not be optimistic. Giving up 2-0 up against Porto, and having to come back and salvage it from a man down in stoppage time. It's just it's tough to watch, and so hopefully we can. Hopefully, I'm wrong here. I would love to be proven as wrong as humanly possible and go out and say we're going to win 3-0. But until they show me that they can do it, I just can't believe it. Um, so let me know. What do you guys think is going to happen? Is this the right call in terms of the lineup for this weekend? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to interact with you guys a little bit more. Again, hit that follow button if you're on Rumble. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And once we get one of those to 100, we will start a Discord so that we can engage with you guys a little bit more. Just be active with us, and we will be active with you guys as well. And so I will be back tomorrow, I believe, for a post game reaction with the Saffron Man. But I've been Sporadiclese. Again, let me know what you guys think. Looking forward to this match tomorrow as much as of a concern that I have. I think we gotta at least try and stay optimistic. So I will see you guys tomorrow after the game. Win, lose, rain, shine, you name it. So looking forward to seeing you all then. And again, Sporadiclese signing off.